on, everyone? Welcome back to another module today. I am extremely excited to talk about this one because this one, I feel like, is the most important module video lesson you watch out of these 14 days, because this will really determine if you're going to see the result that you want to see. And this is what it takes. This is what it takes. Change and commitment. Change is inevitable. People don't like it. Our body, our brains, we get used to something, right? And we don't like when there is an unknown. Most of the time, we don't like when there's a risk involved. We don't like to know what we don't know, right? But that's exactly what it takes to succeed, especially with something like this, with a life change on the line with fitness, or just a change in general. Whether we're talking about personal growth, personal development, or societal evolution, change is always happening, and that's what it requires to grow and to see success and to see results. Let me tell you this: when I was skinny, when I lacked a lot of self-confidence, when I got super self-conscious about the way I spoke, if I didn't make that change, if I didn't step into the uncomfort of posting videos, making videos, trying workouts I didn't know, actually doing something to better myself, but I was afraid, what if it doesn't? What if I don't see change? If I didn't take that step, I would not be where I am today. And so sometimes you just have to embrace it, because that's exactly what you need to do to see that result. Change is in the way of you getting to where you want to get to. You have to change. I'm not going to get where I want to get to in 5 years, this same Daniel, I cannot stay the same. I have to go through trials and events and circumstances that will change me in order to get where I want to get to. The cost of change, discomfort, uncertainty, and effort. These three things keeps people from changing. Discomfort. Stepping out of your comfort zone can be challenging and uncomfortable. I know that. I've been there. I feel that. Even recently, I've moved. When I first started posting on social media, that's not really easy for a lot of people to start with, but that's what it requires, is that discomfort. Stepping out of your comfort zone, because you believe in where you can get to in the final destination more than you care about maybe what people think, or maybe the failure you'll see within that, because you truly want to see the change. You're tired of the complacency. You're tired of staying the same. That's what it takes, guys. That's what it takes. If you can learn to be okay with the discomfort, knowing that you will see the change, that's how you're going to progress. That's how you're going to see that change. Uncertainty. People don't like uncertainty. I've been there. I still am battling with that. I don't always like to go into the uncertain, because it's nothing you've experienced. It's new. And there could be risk involved. We don't like that. But embracing the unknown is part of the process, and the failure of it is part of the process as well. Most people, especially with fitness, will not succeed without any type of failure. It's literally within the scientific process of growing muscle, building muscle, is failure. That's why you train till failure, right? Your muscle has to fail, essentially. I know there's different words for it, but that's what it means. Your muscle has to fail to that weight in order for it to bounce back and grow. That's just part of life. And if you can learn that and embrace that, you're going to be more okay with it. And then effort. It does require effort. And for someone like myself, I have struggled with laziness, and this is where I've had to really push myself, is putting more effort in. It requires dedication, perseverance, and willingness to put in work. If you quit, you're not going to get there. And I've coached people, and some people that I've coached, these things get in the way. And if we don't have a commitment, which I'll get to in a moment, you're not going to see that change. And as bad as you want it, unfortunately, you won't get there. And this is why most people don't get where they want to get to, because these three things get in the way of it. And one or two or three of those things keeps them from progressing. But if you can really maximize these three things and embrace it, you will make so much more progress. And I've seen it in my own personal life. And it's not fun. You're not always going to want to feel like doing these things. You're not going to feel good, but that's what it takes. And I'm starting to really grasp that. Comfort zones are hard to leave. Security, fear of the unknown, resistance to change. Familiar routines and habits provide a sense of security and predictability. We like that. Our brains are wired for that, right? You know what you need to get done. There's no risk involved. You're not stepping into an unknown. You know what you're going to get out of that. And you may like that, or you may not like that. But at least you know what you're getting out. It gives you security. But stepping out of your comfort zone, you step into unknown, and that can feel daunting and scary and overwhelming. And that's why a lot of people don't like it, because people run by emotions. People, their whole lives, they base their entire lives on how they feel. When in reality, if you just think more, if you would think about what you're doing, you may actually feel better about it after thinking logically instead of just running with your emotions. right? Or even just not listening to your emotions, knowing you have to know this is what you need to do though. You do have to get some sort of backing. Sometimes you go with blind faith, but a lot of times, like with fitness, having someone telling you who knows what they're doing, you have the guidance. You will still face that fear maybe, but that's where you just have to not, you can't listen to your emotions because that won't get you anywhere. I've had clients, they're like, I just don't want to go to the gym. I feel like I'm going to get judged. I feel like I'm not going to see the progress. I have to tell them, that doesn't matter what you feel, because if you just do what you're supposed to, then you're going to see the progress. Stop listening to your feelings. That's why you haven't seen progress in the past. And then resistance to change. Our brains are wired to resist change, even if it's for our own good, which is crazy. But we get complacent as human beings. It's part of our nature. But you see those who are always trying to take that next step, even into the discomfort, and even to the unknown, they're always progressing. Doesn't mean they're always winning. They hit failure, but then they learn from that. But I think risk really affects that. But if you can have the right backing, and even get security within that risk and unknown, you're gonna do a lot better. But there will always be some sort of fear involved, and you just have to be okay with that. And then uncertainty. It can be very paralyzing. Doubt, fear of failure, procrastination, doubt, uncertainty leads to doubt and self-sabotage. When you're uncertain, if I'm uncertain and in this instance, let's say this workout plan, this nutrition, that I will do it. If I'm uncertain, if I don't know for sure, that leads to doubt. And doubt leads to believing it won't happen, and won't happen usually leads to that it won't, because you believe that fear, you believe that doubt, you fall into that uncertainty so much that you don't do anything about it. You just accept it when that's not true at all. It's just the way you felt, and you listen to the doubt in your mind. And then fear of failure. People don't like failure. Trust me, I'm not a pro at this either. I don't always like failure either. We don't like to go through things. It's hard. It doesn't feel good. And again, we go by feelings, but I'm starting to learn, like, you can't always go by feelings. So yeah, you gotta sometimes embrace the failure, depending on what it is, of course. And then procrastination. A lot of people, this is a common one. We delay taking action, hoping the uncertainty will resolve itself. This is why so many people wait for that perfect moment. You get an image in your head, it looks good, you think you'll do it, and you fall in love with that, and you think that's the way it's going to happen, and it'll happen. And then we keep pushing that moment back, because when we actually do take action, there's always that risk and the unknown, and it never lines up how you want it to. Even if it would go exactly how you imagined to start, at some point it would go off the tracks, because that's just facing reality. That's just because in your brain you're not accounting for every single aspect all the factors that will affect that result, that thing. But in your head you're just thinking of the perfect image and nothing else, and so it's really a distortion of reality. And you have to just start. That's you hear it all the time. It's literally just starting today and making it work today. And I'm constantly battling that, not just with fitness, not really with fitness, but other things. And that's your number one enemy, because procrastination. You fall in love with the fantasy, but you're doing nothing in your life, and so it's just wasting time. And time is valuable. Time is the most important, one of the most important assets, because you can't get it back. The power of commitment, dedication, resiliency, and focus. This is what you guys need. You have to have commitment. With people I work with, when I've seen it in my own life, when I commit to something, I'm going all in, and I'm not leaving until I get where I need to get to. I commit, because if you go halfway in, you're not going to get anything. You're not going to get anything. And commitment is more than just emotion. It's dedication. It's committing, because the key is overcoming the challenges and achieving your goals even when you don't feel like it. Again, I bring up emotions because it's very important. Not giving up. It's not just motivation. It's sticking with it. It's consistency. Resiliency as well. Because commitment allows us to persevere through setbacks and bounce back from failures. Because let's just say, and this is because I'm a coach, I'm working with someone, and we commit, let's just say for a year, right? We commit for a year. A lot of people, because it's happened, in that first month, if they're not committed, they're going to leave, because usually they feel really good about going in, and then some sort of thing factors into where they get that doubt. There's that uncertainty, and then they don't communicate with anyone else, so they believe that uncertainty, and then then they don't act at all, and it just gets worse and worse and worse, and then that causes them to leave. When in reality, it's like, first of all, that thought was probably not true, but second of all, quitting is just worse. Quitting, you won't get anywhere quitting. So you have to have that dedication. You have to commit. And you have to commit for time. I think that's one of the most important things, is just committing. Because you're not going to see that change in 1 month. I guarantee you, with most things. Very few things, especially fitness, you won't see that change in 1 month. 2 months, probably not. 3 months, probably not. 4 months, maybe that's when you start to see things. But everything counts. From the day one to the final day, you're building that foundation to start. every step is a progress. And that's why if you see the other videos, counting small wins, things like that is very crucial in this aspect of seeing change. But commitment is what you need. If you go into something, you have to be okay with committing for time, the amount of time that it takes. And I guarantee you in this, because you're here for fitness, it won't take 1 month, it won't take 2 months, it won't take 3 months. It may take at least a start. You'll start seeing progress 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. It just depends, but the idea is it will take time, and you have to be okay with it taking time and going through failures and going through adversities. And that's why you have to have the right person, the right structure in place to help you through those times, or else you won't make it out. You'll quit. And I've seen it time and time again. That's why if you go off of just how you feel in the moment, you won't stick to it. You won't. So you got to think of your future self and how he will feel in that moment, and you got to focus on that. And the next thing is focus. It helps us stay focused on our desired outcome and resist distractions. Focusing on the end result that you want, because in the moment you won't feel good, but that's what you're doing it for. That's what the commitment is for. So commitment means staying on course. Consistency. You have to have consistency, and it doesn't mean consistency within the plan itself. It means consistency with the idea, consistency with the commitment, not giving up on what you invested in. So again, back to my clients, not giving up on what you're trying to do. Doesn't mean you will be consistent every day with the program itself, with the training, with the dieting. It means staying consistent with the idea, with what you want. That's the consistency I need. And then persistence. You gotta be persistent. You gotta be okay with correction too. You gotta be okay with having someone guiding you and being persistent in that case. And then discipline, because you won't always feel like it. And that's why I think accountability is so key, because it's ensuring you get there. And then dedication, you'll make it happen. You'll figure it out. Even if you don't feel like it, you'll figure it out with someone else too. I'll figure it out with my clients. We gotta make changes, we'll figure it out. Just don't give up. You just can't give up. And commitment also allows you to overcome obstacles. Way easier. It's way easier. Challenges. Obstacles are inevitable on the path to change. You will face obstacles. I guarantee it. No matter what you commit to, what you do, you will face an obstacle. You will. And at some point in your fitness journey, you will face an obstacle. They come in all shapes and sizes. But that's why commitment ensures you'll stay and get through it. And that's what it takes. If you want to lose that fat, you want to build that muscle, you want to have that physique, you want to have that lifestyle, you want to have that strength, you want to have that mindset, you want to feel good just physically. That's what it takes. Solutions. Commitment provides the strength and resolves to find solutions, because it gives you enough time and it ensures you go through those challenges. And this is why all my clients who have the largest commitments, who commit, they see those changes. And I can show you one after another, because it's literally, that's the formula for success, man. And it's not necessarily the easiest thing, but if you just commit, that's what you're going to get. And then growth, overcoming challenges leads to growth and personal development, because you will see growth in that time. You will see growth. So it really ensures that you'll see that change. And we're here for lasting change. We're not here for a quick fix. We're here for a lasting change. Self-discipline. It requires dedication, persistence, and willingness to push yourself beyond your comfort zone. This is discipline. This is what commitment leads to. Motivation. It requires a clear vision of what you want to achieve and burning desire to make it happen. Now, it doesn't mean that burning desire will always be there in the moment. Like, you'll feel it, but it means internally it'll be there. That's what you want. That's what you want for yourself. And then action, man. It takes action. That's what you guys got to do. You got to take action. If you're not taking action, then you won't get there. And I see that with myself all the time. When I'm afraid, I let the doubt, the uncertainty, everything we talked about. I'm not committed. I don't commit. I never get there. And the fear, I have to deal with the regret rather than the failure. And the regret is way worse than the failure, because the failure doesn't last that long, but the regret lasts forever. So you have to choose which one you want. And I guarantee you do not want the regret, because that'll last your whole life. So the choice is yours. It really is. And this can apply more than fitness, but since this is fitness, it's really up to you, because change is a choice. So you can stay comfortable, or you can choose to grow and see the change and the results you have dreamed of and that you've desired.